live. Welcome. I'm Jenni June. I'm a certified child and family sleep consultant, lactation counselor, pre and postnatal stress management coach, practitioner member of the Breathe Institute Los Angeles, and the National Sleep Foundation. I am here today to talk about a very important topic that I think everybody's going to gain from today, including you, mom and dad. This applies to adults as well. But, and we're going to get into that too a little bit, because I like to make sure the whole family is well rested. That's really, you know, the optimum way to live and the optimum way to parent your baby or child. So when I, work with my private cases, one-on-one via Skype or telephone or in home here in Los Angeles, where my sleep consulting practice is, one of the big points that I'd like to stress with parents when we're putting their sleep plan together for their child is to really consider how screen devices impact well sleep. It has a hormonal impact, actually, on the quality of your child's sleep, for naps and especially for night sleep. And we're going to get into the details of that for a moment. But first, I'd like to tell you a little bit of my own story. As you know, I'm a mother of 4. My kids are all grown and raised, and I have almost a 1-year-old grandchild now. But back in the day, as a stay-at-home mom with 4 little kids from birth to 6 years old and no help, the husband was always at work, until 10 o'clock every day. And, I was on my own. It was no joke. And there were times, I am going to just full on confess to you, back in the early 90s, I bust me out some Barney. You know what I'm saying? Like the VCR back in the day, we had the VHS tapes. It was before CDs and all that came out. I mean, Barney was my best friend. Do you guys remember Barney on PBS? The purple dinosaur. I love you, you love me, mommy gets a shower and a little piece. You know what I'm saying? You remember that one? Well, that was how I survived and got a shower once in a while, if I was lucky, with 4 little kids that young. So, I am not judging any parent that has to use a screen device in order to manage, some point of their day with their children. Okay, so let's just get that out right there with my own confession. With that said, though, today's a little bit different. We're 23, 24 years later after, my experience with all of that. We've got all this, round-the-clock tech stuff going on. All kinds. We have iPads and smartphones and cable and, just all these devices, computers, laptop computers and such. So we're going to break it down. We're going to get really real here. Oh, and I'm seeing some of my friends are here. Hey, Baby League and Family League, thanks so much for joining us today. And thanks you guys for all the thumbs up and the hearts and all the love, and for, again, joining me here every Thursday at 1 o'clock. I really appreciate it. And of course, as I'm talking here, I want to engage with you guys and answer some of your questions. So if you have any, please don't hesitate to put them in the comments below. I love to just chat with my friends here and hang out with y'all and create some, some sleep solutions here in this segment. It's only going to be about 10 more minutes, and then we're going to be off. So if you miss it live, still plug your comments and questions in. I'll do my best to answer those for you the rest of the week. All right. So, when we do use screen devices, and that includes, by the way, smartphones, tablets, computer screens, TV screens, to, help deal or manage with certain, periods of stressfulness in parenting, to help, get a little bit of a moment for whatever reason with our children, so we can get something done. It can quickly and easily turn into a common Band-Aid solution that becomes a habit. It's not uncommon to go to a restaurant these days and see, kids at the table with, their parents' smartphone or a tablet, just parents using that to kind of manage them at the dinner table, at a restaurant or wherever. And sometimes that even takes place in the home. I roll up on a ton of consultations where kids are put to bed in their crib with the iPad in their hands to watch in the crib at night, or in their toddler bed. I kid you not. It's really, so this, temporary, okay, sometimes when you're in a spot, Band-Aid solution that we all have to turn to once in a while, situation can really quickly spiral out of control and go downhill where it's a common habit. And I'm going to tell you now why this is not good, especially if y'all aren't sleeping good. Now, and again, by the way, the reason why we start putting these Band-Aid solutions, slapping these Band-Aids on things like this with the parenting is because we're sleep deprived as parents, and we are no longer cognitively flexible as a result. We no longer really are able to be fully attuned with our children and really think in the big picture sense of things and actually do the hard work, the mental planning, the big picture approach to parenting. That's what sleep deprivation does to us. And then of course, it sets a bad example for our kids if we're the ones actually, face planted in a screen device, or our sleep is poor or whatever. So it can really get out of control quickly. Rochelle's with us. Hi Rochelle, thanks for joining us. Zombies, yeah, I call my kids when they are you call them when they're out, call them out when they're on the devices. Yeah, it absolutely melts their brain, and here's why. All right, so the reason why we don't want our kids coming in contact with a screen device of any kind an hour and a half to 2 hours prior to naps or bedtime is because the retina, the eye, catches the blue light that emanates from the back of these screen devices, all of them, and by the way, these filters that are created for them do not work, according to some of the studies that are coming out about that. It sends an immediate signal. That blue light hits the retina, travels to the hypothalamus, and starts tricking the brain into thinking it's seeing the same blue light that it sees during the early morning rising sun at dawn. And that distinctive blue hue in the early day is what helps us create a huge surge of cortisol that's designed to keep us awake and productive and focused throughout the day until it's time to go to sleep at night. So that's basically, if we're doing that, if we're signaling the brain, if we're tricking the brain into thinking that that's what it's seeing an hour and a half or sooner prior to nap times or bedtime, you're going to absolutely sabotage any melatonin production that needs to take place in order for them to fall asleep with enough of those important sleep hormones at sleep onset to be able to get into those healthy, deep, restorative stages of each of their sleep cycles. And basically, the bottom line, the result will be just a difficult time falling asleep, delayed sleep onset. They'll be overtired. They won't have those hormones to do what we're asking them to do. And so there'll be a lot of pushback and fussiness and just battles, hour and a half long bedtime routines, jumping through hoops just to do all the work for them. It will also result in fragmented sleep at night, because it does, without enough of those important sleep hormones, that melatonin at sleep onset, it's almost impossible to achieve the slow wave sleep component of a sleep cycle. And that particular stage of a sleep cycle is the most important for your children to get, especially if they are, younger, under 4 or 5 years old, where, growth and development is just exploding. That's where we produce human growth hormone. That's where, when we get that component of a sleep cycle, we are not experiencing teething pain or hunger, and we're able to sleep deep. We're actually able to get the restorative benefits from the sleep. And that's really a delicate component of our sleep cycle. Having a screen device, tricking your brain, and producing cortisol when you're trying to go to sleep, getting ready to go to sleep at night, is just going to absolutely, really get in the way of being able to achieve that slow wave sleep and those healthy sleep cycles. And you certainly wouldn't want to sleep train a child and change up your parenting responses in situations such as that as well, because, it's already going to be a little bit challenging, and you're going to get some pushback anyway when you go to make changes to their routine or their sleep environment. But if you've got this in play as well, you're really sabotaging their ability to make these changes for well sleep with ease. So that's a big one. And also, when we're not falling asleep with enough of those sleep hormones present, specifically even, due to the screen device exposure, it also can cause children to wake up extra early before their natural biological wake time, or have them so sleep deprived that they're wanting to sleep past the biological wake time when core body temperatures have already elevated, and it's just junk sleep at that point because we can't experience slow wave sleep once those core body temperatures have elevated. So we have kids that, the older kids that want to sleep in a way that's not exactly healthy or restorative for them. So there's a lot of ramifications to, just something that we really don't pay attention to, and it's becoming a common parenting crutch, exposure to those screen devices. Now, with that said, I always want to make sure that we do things in balance. When you get too extreme on one side or the other, it's not good. We always want balance, right? So here's some solutions to, if your kid just absolutely loses his mind because you're taking the iPad away, or, he's used to having that video on that he gets to watch every day and that's his big treat. You don't have to completely eliminate that. But I want you to start looking at changing the order of when you offer these things. For instance, it's better to provide screen time after they wake up from a nap, or, prior to 2 hours, before bedtime. Somewhere in that window. You don't have to eliminate it completely, but those are the better windows to offer it if you're going to allow your child to have screen time. All right, and the other one is be a good example. Let your child see you doing other things rather than staring into your phone or on your iPad or on your laptop or watching TV. Let them see that there's a life out there and that you've got one, and that you're a creative being, and that you're engaging with the world. They won't know how to do that unless you show them how, right? So, there's other ways to engage other than just having our face buried in a screen device. And we're really losing that here in our society. We're losing the ability, we take for granted that kids are just going to naturally learn and know how to communicate face-to-face with their peers or with, other people in their community. If we don't show them, it's going to be even a greater challenge for the generation to come. You can't teach what you don't know, and you can't lead where you won't go. So be mindful of that in your parenting experience. Hi, Tracy. I'm glad you could join us today. It's all right if you're late. Better late than never. You missed some of my funny Barney stories, though. I tried to sing. If you remember Barney back in the day, the purple dinosaur, saved my life. Saved my life, man. It was the only time I got a shower. So yeah, that was kind of the only kind of sort of funny thing about this whole thing. So you didn't miss much, but that was, my funny brag. But with that said, okay, so when you're well rested, parents, and that's the other solution, the third solution to all of this, is just to make sure that you're really looking at your own well sleep, that you are guarding your sleep, that you're protecting your sleep. Don't expose yourself to a screen device an hour and a half to 2 hours prior to going to bed at night. That way you get to experience those deeper, more restorative stages of your sleep cycles, waking up more restored and well rested, so that you can take on the day excited, creative, cognitively flexible, able to rock and roll and truly enjoy the journey of parenting. And the best part of it, at least for me, was really, really grasping that I was responsible for shaping the character of these 4 human beings. That is no small task. And as a stay-at-home mom, to me, that felt like the most important job in the world. I didn't have a big important job outside of that, but in my mind, that was really what sustained me and helped me see the incredible value and significance in the day-to-day, minute-by-minute, every, the mundane of parenting, was understanding that every little thing I did was being watched, and every little thing that I did made a difference in who these children would become as adults. And they're now adults today, and I'm super, super proud of them. I'm not even going to go there because I'll start crying. I'm so proud of all my kids. All right, so let that inspire you to make some changes to your daily routines and your screen device consumption for both yourselves and your little ones. All right, everybody, thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. I'll try to answer those. And you can visit my website, jennijune.com, JenniJune.com. And you'll find my baby care videos there. You'll find a great set of blogs that'll answer a lot of your sleep questions, and also services and pricing about how I work as a sleep consultant, not just here in Los Angeles, but all over the world. All right, thank you so much. See you next Thursday at 1 o'clock. Bye, everybody.